Hey guys, welcome to Deep Dive Coding. Today we solve LeetCode problem of the day. In this video, I will reframe the question such a way so that you will get the coding part optimally. So without further delay, let's start the video. So question is campaign tower and this is a medium problem tagged by LeetCode. So question flow, video flow will be this way. First I will explain the question, then reframe the questions. This is the most important part. You can say most important part, and then approach, then code explanations, and as usual complexity analysis. So question is, there are so many glasses in and arranged in a manner such that if we have to fill this glass in with water, then it will flow from the second glass this way, and when it is full, then it will also flow from the water this glass, and if it is full, then it will flow water to the next glass this way, and it will also this, and this will be, and this will be there, and when this level is also filled, then it will go to the next level by this way. So you can, this will be the flow directions. So this way the water will be filled, and we have to all time fill this glass only. Now you have given a port, that means how many glasses of the water it needs to be filled, and you have a query row and query glass. What it mean? Let's say query row, over here it is given query row equal to 2, that means we go to the second level, that is level 2, and we are checking the glass number 2 from the starting from the left to right. That means this glass, we just want to calculate how much water already filled this glass according to port glass. This is the question, and we have to return the how much portions is filled. That means if you try to dry run for this example, it will, first of all we have to fill the water, 3 amounts of water, so it will only fill the one amount or water over here, and other 2 amount water go to these portions and these portions, because whatever portions is overflow, that will be equally distributed these two next level classes. That means this also fill with 1 and this also fill with 1. As this already filled with 1 and maximum capacity is 1, so it will not overflow. That means at the level 2, the all the glasses have the 0 amount of water, it will be 0, it will be 0, and next level also be 0 0 0 and 0. So now if you query the second row, second glass, that means this glass, so how much water is filled? You can say that this is 0 amount of water filled. Let's try, we have the 2 amount of water, we first we fill the first glass, that will be 1, and now we have to fill the next row glass, that will be fill half, and this will also be filled with half. So now if we query the first row, that is row number 1, this is, you can say, row number 0, so row number 1 and glass number 1, so you can consider this glass, so this, how much it is filled? It will fill by half with water. This is the simple questions. Now it is like, when you think about it glass, it will be over complicated, but now let's try to reframe the questions. So if you look it carefully, first of all, in the level 0, this is the glass number you consider 0, because we are coding it, so it will, let's consider it 0. When in the second level, that is level number 1, this is glass number 0, and this is the glass number 1. So you can consider at the row 0, it will go to the row number 1, row 0, glass number 0, let's consider gn is glass number, and then it will go fill the gn 0 and gn 1. These are two places it will go. When it's try to fill the row number 2, that means it will be first it 0, then 1, then it will be like 2. So it will go for 0th glass, that means this glass water filled with 0 and 1 for the next level, and for the row number 1, 1th glass, it will fill row number 1 and 2. That means whatever the glass number, that will be next glass and next right glass. These are the two places it will fill. Now you can consider this is a matrix problem. How you can consider? Now let's reframe the question. So consider the cell maximum capacity is 1, and we are starting from this row, and you have only a conditions, you can either fill direct downwards, that means whatever row, for this case it will be direct downwards is this row, like this cell, and you can go to the down right, so that means this cell. If it is fill first cell, then it will next fill this one and this one, and again for this one it will fill this and this, and for this it will again fill this and these cells. For again for this cell one it will fill directly downwards and rightward. For this one you can consider over here and over here, and for this one it will again this and these cells. This way the actual the water is flow. So we all time insert all waters in the first cell, then it will follow some conditions and it will fill the till its overflow. So if you try to dry run for the initial value 3, let's take a matrix over here which have 4 cells, and yeah, so first of all you consider 3 over here, so its maximum take 1, so it will forward to the next, so it will forward to the next over here 1 and next over here 1, and these are the 2 cells already done, so it will be 0 0 downward to the next row and also 0 0 for last row. So now if anyone try to query in this matrix, you can easily say that how much water is filled in each and every cells, and these are the invalid cells. Okay, these are the invalid cells. Now you think about this glass problem as a matrix problem, and the valid move is to direct downward. That's you are saying you are lying this cell, you can directly go to the next downward cells and downward right cell, that means these cells. So these are the possible cases. So you can think of it as a dynamic programming problem of matrix. Now you can easily solve, if you even solve it, at least one problem of the dynamic problem of matrix. Now come into the approach part. Approach is fairly simple. First of all we have to initialize the first row with all liquids, that means first row is this row, this is the first row, so we fill all the liquids over here in the first cell only because first cell is the valid, and next we iterate each row till the 0 to query row, because we just want to query row and query glass how much water is filled, that is our interest. So we just go till query row. Now when we process each row, we just keep one cup of glass in that row, that cell, and if it is overflow then we just split access equally and like propagate to the downward glasses. That means whenever we fill this row like this cell with value 2, that means it is overflow because its cell capacity is 1, we just get the access amount, that will be -1, it will be like 1 is the access amount, we just fill the downward directions, this will be half equally and this also half equally distributed. Now it is cell capacity 1 and it is filled with half, that means it is not overflow, so we can stop here. That is the main condition. And at the each steps we take the current, we take the first row which you can consider as row state, and for the we want a next array for the next row state. We just need to track that those two things, because when we calculate the current row, let's say this is the current row, we needs the previous row state so that we can calculate the current row conditions. That's why we take the new array for the store the next row, and whenever the overflow is not there, that means no glasses overflow in the current row, that means we can stop there, because all the below glasses does not fill any water, that means it will be 0 with water. And at last we just return the queried glass amount of water. Now come into the coding part, but before going into coding part, you can support my work. Please like and subscribe the channel, then comment the understood or whatever you want, and upvote the LeetCode solutions that is in the descriptions. So coding part is fairly simple. I will explain the code in C++, plus Java and Python code is descriptions. So these are the exactly similar structure, so you can refer those things and you can easily understand if you are able to understand the approach part. This is campaign tower is functions, and it's have the poured, how many glasses of water it's poured, and query row and query classes. These are the arguments given. So first we take the current row to track the current row state, and we initialized 1 because in the first row only one glass is there, so it will be for that's why it is 1, and fill all the poured glasses, that means we have filled over here. Now we iterate row equal to 0 to query row, and for each row we take a next row as an array to track the next row state. That means for the first one we just want to track the second row state, this state, and we fill in the next row state, and also takes an boolean, that's any overflow. First of all we are initializing it is false. If it is overflow, then we can just simply turn it to true. And for each column, that means you can say for each glasses in a particular row, in each glasses we iterate through the each glasses and calculate how much water it can come from the previous row. That means if the glasses has more than 1 units of water, that it's overflow. So if the current row of C, that particular glasses have the greater than 1, what it mean, that have the over excess water, we just calculate the excess water. How you can calculate? Just subtract 1 from that water and calculate the split, that means equally split that excess water and add it to the next row C and C plus 1, that means direct downwards and down rightwards, that these positions, this is C is this one next row and C plus 1 was this one. We just add those in equally, so it will be like split flow, how this is the half of the excess water. Now after these two state is already calculated, we just again go back to the current row as 1, because we process all the water in the next row, so it will be the maximum capacity, so it will be like 1. So that's why we just again initializing with 1, and overflow, any overflow is true, that means we hit the overflow conditions, because over here it's an overflow conditions or not, so it is heated, so overflow is true, that means we have to process the next steps also. But in case overflow is false, that means no overflow done in the current state, and R is also, that means the row number is also the less than the query row. What it mean? So we have to return that things directly, because if it is not overflow, so it will be all the glasses below that level will always have the zero amount of water. So we can consider if R equal to query row, that means we are in the last positions where we have to query, so you can consider that glass, that level glass, or if it is next row from the current row, then always it will be filled with zero amount of water. And if it is not, then we have to update our current row state as current row equal to next row. That means we are processing, this is the current and this is the next state. Now when we try to calculate this one, we just reassign, this is the current and we have to calculate the next state over here. So that is the these conditions. If R not equal to query row, that means we are not in the query row, we just update our current row as next row, and at last we just return that current row particular query number of glasses, that means this is the column number you consider. So this way you can code it easily. Now come into the complexity analysis part. So first of all, check this one, we just iterate this one is bigger of query row, from 0 to query row, that you can say query row, and this one also bigger of query row. Why? Because if you take these conditions, in the first level there are only one glasses there, in the second level two glasses there, in the third level three glasses are there, and as you go R number level, you get the R number of glasses over here. So this way you, these conditions like this loop will iterate till the big of query row. So you can consider big O of R square, where R equal to query row. This is the time complexity. Now come into the space complexity. So we are taking space of this one current row, each state of that row number which take a next row conditions. So you can consider, and that will be R plus 2, that means you can consider big O of 2R as the space complexity, and you can consider big O of R as space complexity. Thank you guys, thank you for watching, stay tuned for more videos.